I was never really a runner. The way I see running is a gift, especially when you have stage 4 cancer. I'm Anne. I'm running the Boston Marathon, presented by Bank of America. I run for Dana-Farber Cancer Institute to give people like me a chance to thrive in life, even with cancer.
Join Bank of America in helping Anne's cause. Give if you can at BofA.com/supportAnn. What would you like the power to do? References to charitable organizations is not an endorsement by Bank of America Corporation. Copyright 2025.
This episode is brought to you by Amazon. Sometimes the most painful part of getting sick is the getting better part. Waiting on hold for an appointment, sitting in crowded waiting rooms, standing in line at the pharmacy. That's painful. Amazon One Medical and Amazon Pharmacy remove those painful parts of getting better with things like 24/7 virtual visits and prescriptions delivered to your door. Thanks to Amazon Pharmacy and Amazon One Medical, healthcare just got less painful.
This is Optimal Health Daily. Top 3 mistakes runners make in their off-season by Kate Galliett of fitforreallife.substack.com. And I'm Dr. Neil Malik, your host and narrator. Hey there, happy middle of the week Wednesday, and welcome back to Optimal Health Daily, where I simply read to you from the best health and fitness blogs for free. And then on Fridays, I answer your questions. Remember, you can send in a question by going to oldpodcast.com/ask, or just send an email to health@oldpodcast.com. Now today is Wednesday, and like I do every Wednesday, I like to share a little bit of inspiration with you. So with that, here we go. Quote, "If you don't do what's best for your body, you're the one who comes up on the short end." Julius Erving. Now, before I get to today's article, on the surface, it may sound as though today's episode is only for those that enjoy running, but I promise that's not the case. A lot of the suggestions in today's article can be used for athletes or even just the casual exerciser. So, with that, don't turn off this episode, listen on, and let's get right to today's post and start optimizing your life. Top 3 mistakes runners make in their off-season by Kate Galliett of fitforreallife.substack.com. Your last race of the season is in the rearview window, and it's time to focus on off-season training. Whether you're a casual runner or someone who is focused on several long-distance races each year, the off-season is a necessary time for building strength, mobility, and for healing up those nagging aches. I've coached countless runners through year-round training, and the off-season is the time when, by far, the most mistakes are made. In this article, you'll learn the top 3 mistakes runners make in their off-season training. First, an example of off-season training gone awry. How to mess up off-season training as a runner. Tara was a runner who liked everything from the fundraiser 5K to full marathons. After her October marathon, it was time to switch gears, which for Tara meant starting up 3 times a week at the local group fitness class that focused primarily on high-intensity interval training, or HIIT. These workouts consist of brief, maximum intensity work periods separated by rest periods that she wished were just a little longer. In addition, she also enjoyed the running group for weekly runs that always challenged her pace a bit. And the final nail in the coffin for her off-season, she joined an online multi-level marketing-based fitness program that provided a multitude of workouts that ensured she always had a lot of variety and never had any consistency in the workouts. Tara enjoyed all of these types of activities, but she was also walking around with a perpetual list of aches and pains that never seemed to resolve. She hadn't gotten noticeably stronger or more flexible. Her run pace hadn't improved in a few years now, and it seemed like she got colds and flus more than others, as she'd be laid up a few times a year for a week straight. Tara was making several of the most common mistakes runners make. Thankfully, she was able to make some changes and have not only a stellar off-season, but more importantly, a highly successful next running season. Off-season training mistake number 1. Not improving how your body moves. Your body must flex, extend, and rotate a multitude of joints. It must hold pressure in the right places at the right times. It must generate power, create stability, and allow motion, all at the right places and at the right times. In addition, your muscles, bones, and soft tissues need to withstand the forces that are a part of running. In order to move your joints and make your tissues capable of handling forces, you need them to work how they are made to work. When they don't, your body compensates. Your body will compensate by using other joints to assist with the job that a particular joint is made to do, and it will disperse forces into other tissues that aren't made for the job at hand because the tissues that are made for the job aren't capable of doing the job entirely. A common example for runners is when the hips are lacking in their ability to extend, flex, and rotate. The low back, knees, adductors, quads, tensor fascia lata, piriformis, and iliotibial bands can all act up as they try and compensate for the lacking hips. Off-season training mistake number 2, too much high-intensity strength training. It's not more effective just because it's harder. In fact, how hard a workout is means relatively little about how effective it is. High-intensity interval training workouts, circuit training boot camps, and that insanity workout that's on the streaming fitness service you've seen fall into the too hard, too frequently category. There are 2 very important principles of how muscles, ligaments, and tendons adapt that a runner needs to know and honor in their workouts. First, the specific adaptations to imposed demands principle, abbreviated SAID principle, states that the body will make specific adaptations to imposed demands. This means that if you do a squat with dumbbells in your hands today, and it's difficult, and you repeat it regularly, your body will take note of that and adapt your body's tissues to make you stronger. And eventually, the dumbbell squat will be easier to do. Once you've gotten better at squatting with those dumbbells, you start the process again with a slightly heavier weight. However, if you are training too frequently at too great an intensity without adequate recovery time, your body will struggle to adapt. The second principle you need to know is the zones of tissue tolerance. This principle states that there is a level of stress and strain that tissues can tolerate and maintain homeostasis. That is, the tissues can do all the cellular activities that tissues do to remain healthy and functional. This zone is called the zone of homeostasis. At the edge of that level of stress and strain is something called the envelope of function, and just beyond that is a zone called the zone of supraphysiologic overload. All that means is that the tissues are sustaining more load than they can tolerate and still do all the cellular functions that are necessary to make healthy tissues. It's not a bad thing to dip your toe into the zone of supraphysiologic overload, but it's not an ideal place to hang out frequently or for extended durations. At least, not if you want to avoid body breakdowns and you want to make adaptations towards greater fitness. Your off-season is for building your body up, not causing it to chronically break down. Off-season training mistake number 3. The foam roller has become your best friend. If you're a runner, you've probably heard this endlessly. You need to take care of your mobility. Unfortunately, there's a lot of misinformation out there about how you actually maintain and improve your mobility. Foam rollers can be relaxing to use, but they don't increase your mobility. Getting a massage is a treat, but it also doesn't increase your mobility. Your mobility will increase when you signal to your body that it should allow you to access more mobility. Let's do a simple breakdown of this. You have 2 kinds of range of motion, passive and active. Both are important to have, but active range of motion is the one that will determine whether or not you can move in the ways you want. And in order to move in the way you want, your brain has to know that it's safe to move in that way, and it has to know that you're strong enough to control moving in that way. The amount I can pull my heel to my bottom is my passive range of motion. The amount I can hold it there under my own power is my active range of motion. Active range of motion is built by strengthening your tissues in what is called their end ranges. End ranges are the final point you can get to with your joint motion, which, as it turns out, is likely not to be your actual end range. It's just the point that your brain knows you are strong enough to manage. By building your active range of motion through end range training, you not only improve your mobility, you also get stronger. Double win. Your off-season is a time to become better, stronger, healthier, and fitter as a runner. Make the most of it by putting into action smarter strategies in your off-season training. You just might hit that personal record next spring because of it. You just listened to the post titled, Top 3 Mistakes Runners Make in Their Off-Season by Kate Galliett of fitforreallife.substack.com, and I'll be right back with my commentary. You just realized your business needed to hire someone yesterday. How can you find amazing candidates fast? Easy. Just use Indeed. When it comes to hiring, Indeed is all you need. Stop struggling to get your job post seen on other job sites. Indeed Sponsored Jobs helps you stand out and hire fast. With Sponsored Jobs, your post jumps to the top of the page for your relevant candidates, so you can reach the people you want faster. And it makes a huge difference. According to Indeed data, Sponsored Jobs posted directly on Indeed have 45% more applications than non-sponsored jobs. There's no need to wait any longer. Speed up your hiring right now with Indeed. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/health. Just go to Indeed.com/health right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Indeed.com/health. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring? Indeed is all you need.
Oikos presents 15 Seconds of Strength.
Here we go. Steve's got a trunk full of groceries and no one to help him.
Oh, that's tough, Jim. Looks like a 5-trip load at least.
He grabs the first bag, the second. Bob, it looks like he's trying to do it all in one trip. He shimmies the door open, steps over the dog. Oh, and he stumbles.
Oh, right into the kitchen without missing a beat. Jim, now that's a man who eats his protein-packed Oikos.
With 15 grams of complete protein in each cup, Oikos Triple Zero can help build strength for every day. Oikos, stronger makes everything better.
Dr. Neal here for my commentary. I want to go back to Kate's third off-season training mistake, the foam roller as our best friend. I often get asked about whether using a foam roller is actually helpful for recovery. And that's because, for many, foam rolling feels even more uncomfortable when compared to traditional stretching. Plus, if you've ever tried to use a foam roller on a specific muscle group, you've probably found it requires a bit more coordination to put the foam roller in the right spot and keep it there, all while trying to move the body around it. So, is all that effort worth it? Well, studies are finding that foam rolling is actually best used before a workout rather than after a workout for recovery. Some studies found that foam rolling before running a sprint, let's say, can improve running times. And just as today's author Kate said, instead of relying on the foam roller to help with recovery anyways, scientists recommend using it in combination with stretching and an active warm-up before a training session. So, as we always say in most things health-related, variety is key. And that's especially true when it comes to recovery. All right, that'll do it for another edition of Optimal Health Daily. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll be back here tomorrow as usual, so I'll see you there where your optimal life awaits.